Tonight, meet Rocky and Barco, the Border Patrol's secret weapon in the war against drug smugglers.
And one of the worst rock and roll riots in history happened at a Run DMC concert. Meet these three kings of rap as they defend their music and define its madness.
Then Australia's great
Moment to think of all the great teams on television, and I don't just mean Yanahiro and Hart.
With their noses to the ground.
the Valley of the Rio Grande in Texas. On one side is the U.S., on the other, Mexico. Locals call it the Tex-Mex border. The U.S. Border Patrol calls it a war zone.
War zone in the fact that during the nighttime hours it changes drastically. It is an angry border because of the narcotics coming across.
And there is a lot of narcotics coming across. Thousands of pounds of cocaine, tons of bales of marijuana. But last year it suddenly got a lot harder for any smuggler trying to run a load of drugs up the southern tip of Texas near McAllen. They couldn't get past two hard-working Border Patrol dogs named Rocky and Barco. Rocky and Barco are sniffer dogs. Each has been meticulously trained to sniff out 4 odors: marijuana, cocaine, heroin, and people. Walk the dog around any car, and in as little as 15 seconds, says Rocky's handler Kent Banks, it'll tell you whether there are any illegal stowaways or drugs inside.
It would have probably taken me 15 to 20 minutes to arrive at the same thing that Rocky had in a matter of seconds on this one.
And this is what Rocky found in this car: 24 pounds of rolled, compressed marijuana stuffed into the car's 4 doors. This was a real bust, made just an hour before we arrived with our camera.
Rocky gives us the indication by sniffing the area that he thinks that the contraband is hidden in and then sitting down like he's doing right now. And his reward, or his treat for finding contraband, is a little red rubber ball, or an orange ball in this case.
Simple but oh so effective. Rocky and Barco have already sniffed out more than $135 million worth of illegal drugs between them. And don't think the drug smugglers haven't noticed. Some of them are reportedly so angry they put out a $30,000 contract on each dog. Of course, what makes Rocky and Barco so effective is their incredibly keen sense of smell.
For example, today, we're working a vehicle and Rocky was outside the car and he immediately jumped through the open window. He didn't even wait for me to open the door for him. Jumped through the open window, went in and sniffed along the carpeting and gave me a response and sat down.
Well, it took Kent and another agent several minutes to find what Rocky had sniffed from the outside from 20 feet away.
This is what we came up with on this one.
A single marijuana stem. The Border Patrol says it won't bust anyone for such a small quantity, and Kent releases the 2 men who were in the car with the advice to do a thorough vacuum job if they don't want any trouble the next time they go through a checkpoint. But sniffing out a single marijuana stem is dog's play compared to going up against the professional drug smugglers. That's when the Border Patrol really needs a good nose. Smugglers have been caught trying to hide drugs in the false bed of a pickup truck, in the roof of a truck, in the false gas tank of a truck, in cans of beans, even in a trailer filled with roofing tar. Barco sniffed out this load.
This is a game for them. It's a hide-and-seek game. We keep it in that concept. The dogs don't get to play with the balls, or they're not rewarded with the balls anytime except when they find narcotic odor.
Now, most drivers going through the checkpoint never even see Rocky or Barco. The dogs are called in only if an agent suspects something and asks a driver to pull over. And even then, most people don't seem to mind a quick visit from the dogs.
No, I don't mind that at all. Just ain't got nothing to hide.
Hey, them guys just doing their job.
But the Border Patrol has come to trust the dog's uncanny sense of smell so completely that once a dog sits down, an agent will go so far as to tear apart a car or a truck to find the contraband the dog has signaled. But what working at a Border Patrol checkpoint soon comes down to is waiting and watching and wondering which cars or trucks have the drugs and hoping you don't let them get by. Suddenly, Barco's handler, Tom Slewinski, notices something and has a car backed up a pair of ramps.
Man came up and he was pretty nervous to me. He was stuttering when he was answering my questions.
The
bent down and looked underneath the car and noticed all the fresh scratch marks on the gas tank.
And every Border Patrol agent from Brownsville to San Diego knows what that could mean. Tom brings Barco over, and within seconds, sure enough, 10 minutes later, what Tom suspected and what Barco sniffed out is revealed. The gas tank has 2 false compartments filled with 27 pounds of marijuana.
In the past, before we had the dog, we'd get somebody to look like this and take the gas tank down, there wouldn't be anything there. And we got a dog, and I can't remember in the last 16 months where we took a gas tank down after the dog hit on it and we didn't find anything.
As for the smugglers, the Border Patrol asked us not to reveal their identities. Each man was traveling with a woman and 2 small children. Each was charged with possession of drugs with intent to distribute and could be jailed for as long as 5 years.
I treat this dog like he's a member of the family, like he was flesh and blood. Tom and I, we take him home, and they're part of the family. But when he sees the green uniform coming on, you can see the excitement. You know, he starts pacing around the kitchen, and he's walking back and forth, and he goes and sits by the door like, okay, it's time to go. Let's go, Dad.
He's my partner, and I work a lot of long hours, travel a lot of far places with him. It's just incredible what they've done and what they've accomplished here in the first year and a half.